Hey guys, so today we are going to do a very long tutorial, not that long but very short as well. I'll be uploading the full video on YouTube, but in case I get lucky I might share some few tips on TikTok. So we are going to look at how to actually design a logo that is a MasterCard logo. It's very simple, actually 2 circles and a color, that's all. But before that, let's try to look at certain platforms that you can actually use to create your logo, a core card, a flyer, and what have you. I'm sure most of you out there have been wanting to learn how to design graphics but do not have the right platform or the mentor to teach you. Well, I wouldn't say my mentor, but from my experience and what you can currently see, I did this thing right from YouTube. I learned it on myself, by myself. It took me some time, but I want to break that kind of cycle for you. I don't want you to take a very long time to actually master a particular skill when you can do it very easy with certain platforms that makes it so easy for you to actually get things done. So for example, I'm sure most of you know this particular website, Canva. I've been using this particular platform like for so many years now. Like I've graduated from this particular platform. It's very good for beginners, so you can see the number of items I've actually worked on so far. I'm sure some of you have seen this video currently on TikTok. Yes, I did it on Canva. It's very simple. I think I'll be doing the third one very soon and uploading it very soon. Now the other thing is you can see that Canva has a lot of content and then templates you can actually work with. So right from the platform, you don't have to even design things from scratch unless maybe you want to do that yourself. I usually do that from scratch, but sometimes if you need the speed to work out certain things, you don't need to actually do it from scratch. So for example, this Canva thing, this template and everything here, I think is the best out there for beginners. But in case you think and feel it's too much for you, don't worry, I got about 2 more extra to show you. For example, post on my wall, another platform I use more often than Canva. You'll be surprised. It has few templates alright, but I like the way they come up with, because the templates are pre-made, pre-designed, and then you don't have to even do much. You just have to replace, just as Canva, you have to replace certain images in their templates. This one makes it more easier for you. So these are currently the works I've done so far. It's very easy. I didn't have to struggle that much. I maintained the design and everything, and just have to replace certain templates and then import certain images into it. So I think I prefer Post on my wall. That is the website, the URL here, postonmywall.com. Canva does the same thing too, so I have used it the same way. Some of my recent designs in the past that I did, you can also replace images and text and all that, but overall I think Canva works in a different realm. I mean, personally I prefer Post on my wall. Yeah, I think that's what I thought at first until I came across this particular website. So if those following me on YouTube, you may realize that I've created a video recently that I use this particular thumbnail, which I did in this particular platform called Visatacreate. Visatacreate is similar to Canva. It has almost everything that Canva has, but has more tools than Canva. I think from what I saw when I was creating this particular tool, I realized there were too many extra tools at the left side of the screen, which felt like home to me, because coming from Adobe Adobe Photoshop and then Adobe Illustrator, still a beginner there, I realized that there were some tools there that kind of related to me in a way that I could work with faster and then easier. So I made this particular thumbnail here with Visatacreate, not with Canva, Visatacreate. So with Visatacreate, with Canva, and with Post on my wall, actually you can design almost everything. Yes, so these are the 3 top design platforms I recommend for everyone, but let me show you something here. The 4th one I recommend is also Figma. Figma can be used for so many things aside UI designs and then other things out there. Currently this design you see here was made in Figma, so I just designed some screens and then some stuff for my current project, and it's very cool. Alright, it's just an application I was just trying to design for a particular company, but even though it is used for that, you can actually do more than that in Figma, also in Adobe XD. Yes, so there are more than 4 or 5 platforms that allows you to design with ease. So today I'm going to show you how to design a simple logo from MasterCard just by using Figma. So first I would have to create a canvas as a working area for me to design. So using shortcut keys, I'm pressing the A on my keyboard to just draw out A uniform rectangle. I think the size is going to be 1000 by 1000 for this tutorial. Usually I use 3000 by 3000 for the quality, to make sure the quality matches with what Photoshop and then Illustrator gives you. So usually I use 3000 by 3000, but 1000 by 1000 also no, it's not that bad. After all, we are trying to create a logo, so I don't have to make it too much. And also one thing about this is that it allows you to create vector graphics, so you don't need to be worried about what you are designing in which size or form. You can actually upscale your size later on to match the standards of graphics. So before I go ahead, I'm going to import the logo onto design. There are two ways actually to do this, but I think I'm only use one way since I'm in a hurry. I don't want to stress anyone or bore anyone watching this video, so I'm going to do this one very quickly. But I'll mention, or I might mention, the two ways of doing this. So first is actually you can actually have this logo you see here, MasterCard, in the working area like this, where you're going to reduce the opacity and then draw over it. Yes, that seems too much for me personally. That seems too much for me, so this is very easy to do. I wouldn't go through that stress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove the logo and then place it somewhere out here as an inspiration for myself, and then just go right to the frame and then just get it done, as simple as anyone would want it. So to do that, I'm going to just use shortcut keys, but if you want to learn this from basics, I don't mind teaching anyone at a small price, or actually you can also learn it from YouTube as well. So to start, I'm going to use shortcut keys. I'm going to press the O on my keyboard to access the ellipse tool here. I could have gone there alright, but I guess I didn't want to do that. It's a long thing for me. I like shortcuts a lot. So when I press the O on my keyboard, it allows me to access the ellipse key and the ellipse tool or the circle tool, and then press the shift on my keyboard and then draw out a nice circle. Very simple. So with this, I think I'm done with the logo. You don't need to actually do anything else again. Yes. The reason I'm saying that is because you don't need to draw an extra circle again. You can actually duplicate the circle just by pressing on the Alt key on the keyboard and then drag over this circle. It's different from Adobe XD, but it still works the same. So with this, I can actually say I'm done with the logo. All that I need to do is group this together by pressing the Ctrl and then the G on my keyboard, and then it works out this way. So this way I can now drag the two circles into the center of my working area and then apply color to it. Now applying color to this might be difficult, so you would have to move to this section, then access the logos individually. So with this one, the first circle may take red as you see here, and the second logo may take orange, but maybe you wouldn't see it as the same result as you see it here, and I'll explain why and how to solve that. Now, so the first circle here is going to take the color here. Now if you move to this section here, when you try taking the color here, it's going to be very hard. It looks cool, it looks good, but when you try to adjust it, let's say when you're trying to take this color here, orange here, for this particular circle, and we are trying to adjust to get the exact thing, it becomes a bit difficult. So you might end up getting the right color, you might not end up getting the right color. For this example, I'm only going to use a shortcut key, or the shortest way to actually gain the color or actually acquire the color without having to come to this color section to be playing with the tools, taking too much time. So all I'm going to do is just select the circle here and then press I on my keyboard as usual to access the color picker tool, and then move to the color here to just click on it. Immediately the circle samples the color from the example I had, so I can easily import the color from that section, or let me see, sample the color from that section into this circle. Now I access the second circle and then do the same, press I on my keyboard and then click on this color here to access the second color or sample the second color into the circle. Now you can see that this circle is overlapping this one. It doesn't look the same as this. So the easy way to actually acquire the same thing as this, as you see here, is to actually reduce the opacity of this one, because you can actually tell that the red can be seen through the orange. The possibility is because this orange has been reduced. The opacity of this orange has been reduced. That is why you can see portion of the red inside the orange. So to do that, you can actually use the keyboard at the same time again, but I think for this example I might want to use the properties tool here. You can reduce, it's currently 100%, so you can actually reduce it to 75% or 70%, whichever way you want it. But it seems like reducing 70% is way too much, so I think we may want to stick to either 80 or 90%. Okay, 80 still seems too much. Let's stick to 95%. I think 95% is too much too. I mean, it's not that clear. You can't see that. You can't see through the red that much. So you can just be playing with the two until you get something very good. So I want to stick with 90%, all because the color here seems a bit lighter. If it was a bit deeper, I think we'd have been able to see it through more easier. The other way to also do that is to actually reduce the opacity from this section. The actually other ways to also do this thing. You don't have to always do them from the fill section or from this section too. What you see here as pass through, usually that's what I use. So I'm going to increase this back to 100% and then prefer to use this one. Now to use this one, I'm going to use the shortcut key. I'll prefer to just press 9 on my keyboard. You can see that it has been reduced from this section. Yes, so I prefer this one better than this one. It still works the same way. I just have my own preference. That's how I do things. So once we are done, we can actually upscale or increase the size. I'm just going to do this one by pressing K on my keyboard using Figma. When you press K, it allows you to access this particular tool here. It allows you to scale up your logo or whatever element you have in there. So I'm going to do that and then access my selection tool, back again, center it, and then now we just move on to the text. So the text, I have a particular or a special text I use often, which is pop-ins. So let me just type MASTERCARD, very small. Yeah, I know I'll be increasing the size and everything. So from the property section here, I want to choose pop-ins, which is going to emulate the style of this text you see here. It's very cool, right? So I'm going to do that. The pop-ins allows me to do that, and I'm going to increase the size to whatever size you want. Make sure it's not that big or broad, so you can just select from this section to let me use 64. I think 64 is also not bad. So I'm going to use that one and then increase the weight of the font. Currently it's very thin, so it's a regular. You can change it and make it semi-bold. Semi-bold looks okay. Let me stick to medium. Yeah, medium is not bad. Okay, fine, let's just stick to semi-bold. This is an example, so later you can actually do whatever you want to do with this. So now that we are done, we just align the text with the logo. It seems like here the logo is having a particular alignment with the text. Ours is huge than the text, so either we increase the text or we reduce the logo itself. So I'm going to reduce the logo to make sure I have something within the text area, and then increase the two at the same time. So I have this right here. Okay, let me just stick to this one. So I'm going to select the two, group them together, and then increase both of them at the same time, so that I can actually have a bigger logo for MASTERCARD. So just center it there. I think the text for this is too much. Let me reduce it back to medium. Okay, I think that is better now. So we are done. Very simple. This is how to create a simple MASTERCARD logo. You can get rid of this now. So anyone who wants to learn how to create a simple logo can actually use the tools that I mentioned before, or even use Figma or Adobe XD. I use Figma and Adobe XD most of the time. Ever since these guys came around, I've stopped using Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop and the rest, because Charlie, the skills there is very too much. You need to get a particular skills to actually work with those particular tools. But with this one, it's very easy. There's the same tools are available in here in Figma and also in Adobe XD, but it's very few. It's very few, and you can actually achieve the same things as you can do in Adobe Photoshop and then also Illustrator. I mean, Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop has taught me a lot, but I gotta say, I prefer Figma and XD nowadays over Adobe Photoshop because of one or two things. I will probably show you the reason why in the next video, because I've done so much designs in Adobe XD, and then Figma with certain things you would imagine like, wow, how did I achieve this? Trust me, I did that in Figma and Adobe Photoshop. Sorry, I mean Adobe XD. Those tools have made me become more skillful than I thought I could. So see you another time in another tutorial on YouTube, wherever you want me doing this particular tutorial. Let's learn more, follow, and then subscribe as well. See ya.